Hello, welcome in our virtual training workshop of 21 days of effective communication. Today is our fifth day of this training, and our topic is swap but for and embrace yet. Now let's start with the name of Almighty Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Today we are going to draw your attention to but and yet. We mean that we tend you to exchange the word but with and always hold the word yet. In fact, word but indicates negativity while the word like and yet indicate positive attitude. In today's lecture, we will talk about how we adopt positive attitude by living but and adopt positive attitude by changing our behavior by adopting the word and or yet. Along with the useful practices, imagine you are with a close friend and he or she says, I really appreciate you as a friend. I am glad we get to spend time together and especially like your sense of humor, and then pause and add but. Or someone says, that's a lovely jacket you are wearing, but. You did a wonderful job with this, but. I like your new hairstyle, but. What happens in your mind when the person says that little word even before they say anything else? However, we rationally respond, our emotional response is to ignore everything that went before the but and focus on what comes after it. Instinctively, we recognize that this is what they really think, feel, or attempt. Sometimes it is a little thing that make a huge difference. The word we choose in our conversation not only figure out how other people see us, but also how we see ourselves. The word will start to appear more welcoming as soon as you become master the art of positive communication. You will begin seeing opportunities rather than problems, and other people will be impressed by your proactive, unbeatable personality. How often do you hear people say but statements? Here are a few examples that I had loved to go on vacations, but I am scared of flying. I'd like to go back to school, but I don't have any free time. I want to run a marathon, but I am so out of shape. In each of these statements, the speaker ascribes a particular explanation to a problem or situation. They assert that because they are scared of flying, they can't go on vacation, or that they have no free time so they can't go to school, or that they are out of shape and therefore cannot run a marathon. What most people doesn't realize is that a typical but statement is unnecessarily limiting and negative. This becomes more apparent if you take out but and then insert and instead. Take the first example in the list above. I had loved to go on vacation, but I am scared to fly. Now we change but with and. You will notice that now the meaning of statement is changed. I'd love to go on vacation and I am scared to fly. The revised version suggests that the speaker just so happens to be afraid of flying, but they want to go on vacation. It's a subtle difference, but it matters. It implicates that the person has a desire plus up to be solved, rather than a desire that will be diverted by their problem. When we start working with a client, the We notice that they parrot the same old but statement repeatedly. They become our own personal stories, excuses that we don't question. We assume that they are true and take them to heart as the gospel's truth. These intrinsic beliefs become somewhat icons to a script. The more you repeat them, the further entrenched you are in the role of someone who would love to change their life yet cannot do so because they are held back by a single factor beyond their control. When we teach to drop the but and swap them for and instead, we usually see a rapid transformation within a few minutes. The mindset shift starts to show in their expression. Hope replaces depressions as they realize. But the way you frame a situation makes all the differences when coming up with solutions to a challenge. The word but negates the positive statement that comes before it, almost as if you didn't say that particular thing at all, it takes away its significance. Actually, it doesn't just remove its significance, it almost reverses it. You are more likely to think the opposite of whatever comes before the but. If, on the other hand, that person had said to you, I know what you are saying, I don't really agree. Now, both statements have gravity. They both understand what you are saying and he doesn't agree with it. But can also make people defensive. As soon as we hear that little word, most of us assume that criticism or bad news is on the horizon. For instance, if you were to tell someone that you understand their point but want to use another approach, they are likely to feel threatened and criticized. However, telling them that you understand their views and want to use another strategy will usually elicit a more positive response. It implies that you value their input even though you won't put it into action. This technique generates a sense of closeness and mutual alliance. The power of yet. Simply putting yet on the end of a negative statement can transform its meaning. Let's look at a few examples. I don't know enough about this topic to pass the exam. I don't know enough about this topic to pass the exam yet. I don't I just don't earn enough money to buy a house. I just don't earn enough money to buy a house yet. Using yet signals to yourself and others that you haven't given up. You are acknowledging that things might change. You may not understand exactly how you will make these changes come to pass, but you are at least open to the possibility. It immediately transforms you into a more positive, optimistic person, at least in the eyes of others. This technique doesn't just work in conversation, it is also effective when it comes to your own self talk. It promotes a sense of positivity and potential while still encouraging you to remain realistic. It acknowledges your current situation and problems but makes it clear that you are on the right track. There are two exercises for you to try today. Exercise 1. Whenever you catch yourself making a negative statement that include the word but, substitute and instead. Don't be surprised if your optimism turn out to be contagious. This one little change will make you sound confident and positive. This will inspire others. If you aren't able to try this out in conversation, use it as a journaling exercise instead. Give yourself 5 minutes to write down any but statement you have been making recently. What happens if you use and instead of but? Personally, you will feel less helpless in the face of difficulties when you make this simple swap. Exercise 2. Go on a yet hunt. Whenever you make a negative statement that you are lacking some kind of resources, stick a yet on the end. You could also silently add a yet to the end of other people's sentences and see it for yourself how it changes their meaning. You might be tempted to start telling others that they'd feel better if they started using yet more often, but this is best avoided unless you are certain they. Thank you very much. Here we finish this lecture on how to change our but statement into and yet. We hope that you enjoyed much and learned a lot of new things with us. We are waiting for your valuable feedback. Keep watching our YouTube channel. For more trainings and upcoming lectures, please subscribe our YouTube channel.